What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight podcast powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. It's Thursday evening, 6:30. Man, that weekend is close. And it's going to be a long weekend because Monday is the real holiday as Miami goes for their 6th national championship. I'm walking on the moon, man. I know a lot of the shows and the text and all this has been about the portal quarterback, and there's been a lot of stress about it, a lot of posts on CanesInsight.com, 7.8 million posts and counting, in fact. But it's hard to get down when we are about to play at home for a championship. We'll talk about all that and more with Caneville Footballville's Daryl Streeter. He'll be joining us shortly. Got some other special guests and surprises as well. Wanted to check in on the chat, man. Appreciate you guys. CFC, the Boa Boys, always bringing it in the chat. Daryl Young, yeah, it's a good combo. I'm excited to bring on Street. Shout out to all the villains listening here. Right here, we're going to be playing with Controlled Rage. Can't wait. You know, I've been watching more and more Indiana film. At this point, pretty much seen all their games this season. Read the article by Bruce Feldman. We did a whole little segment on it in the last show. 12 out of 12 coaches picking Indiana to beat Miami. They are now over an 8-point favorite. Public is heavily on Indiana. And I just keep watching more Indiana film, seeing their size or lack thereof, seeing some of their tackling issues on the outside, particularly number 22, Sharp, one of the worst tacklers I've seen. Some of their protection issues with tackles that, in my opinion, are the third best group of that we faced thus far, maybe fourth. Great offensive line, very cohesive, but in terms of pure talent, I'm not impressed with the tackles. We did a whole show with Landon Tengwall talking about that tackle defensive end matchup, former Penn State offensive tackle, and he agrees that not a great group of tackles despite a pretty good reputation. And look, bottom line is Indiana is a great team. They're undefeated for a reason. They have blown out top 10-ish. I think Alabama was top 10. They shouldn't have been, but they were top 10 type teams the last 2 times out. Beat Ohio State, which is legitimately very, very good team with a ton of talent. But the idea that you have a more physical team, a bigger team, a more athletic team that's just coming off 3 straight top 10 wins, none of which were at home. And that team is the massive underdog in their home stadium. Those factors lining up, to me, makes it hard to not be excited about this matchup. Again, I will repeat, the bigger team is Miami. I don't think anyone will dispute that. That's just a measure, a scale, right? There's no real debate to be had there. The faster team is Miami. Indiana has some really fast players. Their corners can roll, 4-3 type guys. Becker, number 80, can run downfield as well. I mean, they run pretty well at most positions, but I think everyone would agree Miami, top to bottom, is the faster football team. Physical. Indiana. Tackles, tough, gets off blocks. They are a physical football team. But the more violent football team, clearly, is the University of Miami. Again, the things I'm saying here are not controversial points. Even the 12 coaches picking Indiana, the handicappers putting that spread up there, the people betting on Indiana, I think most people would agree with the points I've made so far about size, speed, and violence. It's a fact that Miami has beaten 3 top 10 teams to get here. Now, Indiana's on a 3-game winning streak against top 10 teams, so they're pretty similar there. But I do think when you talk about the road Miami's been on, really being in the playoffs since November 1st, 1 loss would knock you out, having to go on the road to Texas A&M in their home stadium, then playing Ohio State and playing Ole Miss when you didn't really bring your best. Very tougher road, tougher games in Indiana, who's been blowing teams out, getting all the pats on the back. So add that all up and throw that spread on a team that is playing in their home stadium, basically playing at home. I just love how that shakes up, because the only thing that Miami's an underdog in this game is the score, is the actual spread. That's where they're an underdog. Physically, speed-wise, physicality-wise, they're not the underdog. So that combination, if I'm Indiana, I'm extremely nervous. Specific matchups, again, we've talked about it all week. We've done shows with Josh Pate, Landon Tangwall, the film guy, Brooks Austin. We got great show coming up here with my man, Eric McLean, which will be dropping sometime tomorrow. Pete did met up with Indiana, one of their guys, to do a show. So we got a lot of content on the matchup and the matchups within the matchup. But I keep coming back to their tackles are going to have a tough time protecting. Their right guard's going to have a tough time protecting. The rest of them might have a tough time protecting too, even though they're good players. And they do not get rid of the ball the same way Ole Miss does. Their sack percentage ranking, meaning the percentage of dropbacks that result in sacks, they're 72nd in that category. Even with a lot of RPOs, very heavy RPOs and other things meant to keep the defense guessing and as Brooks Austin put it, defending 2 plays. So keeping them on their, on their back foot, keeping them away from really letting loose, pulling their ears back, getting after you. They're still 72nd in sack percentage allowed. So that matchup is not a good one if you're an Indiana fan. The receivers, I'm worried about. The more I watch Indiana, the more I see, look, they got 3 NFL receivers. Now, Miami played Ohio State, who had 2 first-round receivers. But Indiana's got 3 NFL receivers. Number 80, Becker. He's being compared to white guys, but at least he's being compared to different kinds of white guys. I've seen the Jordy Nelson comps, the Alec Pierce comps, and actually I agree with those. I think they're good comps. But he's a downfield guy, super talented. He'll be a high pick. I actually think he's the one you have to take out of the game and live with the other ones. Live with Cooper, number 3. Live with Elijah Surratt, number 13. But he's the one I'm watching as far as you got to take him out of the game. But that's a good matchup for them. When you flip it to the other side, those corners for Indiana are shockingly thin. Now, Pons is a very good player overall and a very good tackler for his size, but he's small. That's why he's at Indiana. I liked him. I liked him in high school. I hyped him up in high school. He's on my all-underrated team before he signed with James Madison, so I'm a fan. But there's a reason why he's not at Miami or Ohio State or one of those schools. He's not that big. He'll tackle at least, but there's size limitations. The other one, Sharp from Northwestern, Miami Northwestern, now at Indiana, he's one of the worst tacklers I've seen in this tournament. I mean, he is horrible. He runs a 4.3. That's why he's out there. But he is a horrible, horrible tackler. So if I'm Miami, I'm making those guys tackle. Yeah, maybe they can run with Keelan Marion and CJ Daniels, but can they get off their blocks? Can they tackle them on those short passes without those guys falling forward for 2 or 3 extra yards? Challenge their size and physicality when we are attacking their corners. Them against us, look, I wish we had Xavier Lucas the first half. Those receivers are going to be tough to deal with. But that's where the matchup, tackles versus ends, comes into play because we can get after those guys and tackle Mawanoa, keep them away from the ball. Sorry, tackle Mendoza. I apologize. And keep them away. Bagging Up says, D-Money making the case for ground and pound, just wear them down approach. There's no question. You're the bigger team up front. You have those tight splits, which make it hard to penetrate. They like to play all those games. They have a lot of movement up front. I think that's a good matchup for us because they can move around all they want. We have tight splits. There's not that many lanes to get through. We got to do a better job picking up some of those stunts than we did last game against Ole Miss. They got a little more pressure than they probably should have based on some of that confusion. Texas A&M to another degree did as well. But with these tight splits, with that size that Miami brings, and again, the dirty secret about Indiana, and it's not a secret because Cignetti said it right after they won, but it's not talked about enough. They don't have good depth, and they know it. Cignetti said it. They have good starters. They do not have good depth. So if you pound them and force them to sub, now you're getting really substandard players for this level. The starters are at the level. The backups are substandard. They're more like what you expect from an Indiana team. And they're not up to par at this level. So size, wear them down, make them tackle you, beat them up. I mean, it's a pretty simple approach. Bagging Up saying Indy runs the ball very well too. No, we're going to stop Indy's run game. That's no question. But Miami's faced Jeremiah Love, Kejuan Lacey, who had a great run. Obviously, didn't do much outside of that, but he great run. Jaden Baugh, all the weapons that Texas A&M brings. We face some really, really tough running games. Bo Jackson, who's not a superstar, but ran for 5 yards against Indiana. He was a star freshman in the Big Ten. And they ate all these guys alive. Hollywood Smothers, who just signed with Texas. What do you get against Miami? 2 yards? Negative 2 yards? So, yes, their running game is good, but I like what we bring to the table against their running game. Bottom line is, look, as pessimistic, and pessimistic is the wrong word, as maybe anxious we are about the transfer portal and all that stuff, I am so excited for this game. I am so excited for this matchup. The weather was perfect today. It was immaculate. It is going to be immaculate. It's going to be a little cold, but it'll be sunny, and it's just going to be a great weekend. It's going to be festivities right here. I live in Miami Beach, so like this is all like walking distance from my house. The team hotel is like walking distance from my house. It's just going to be a great, great weekend. Miami's going to be all business, and then the matchup is going to be great for TV. All the storylines, so many exciting players. Number 1 pick overall with Mendoza. To me, the number 1 defensive player in Bain. Number 1 freshman in Malachi Toney. Number 1 offensive lineman in Mauanoa. Just a lot of star players on the field. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm just jacked up. I know we've been talking portal. We're going to continue to talk portal, but I'm fired up. Let me check on our boy Street here. See how he's doing. All right. Let's just send him a little text. All right. There he is. He's getting ready to come on. I'm excited. Fired up to talk to Street, man. Street, for those who don't know him, just know how deep he is in the community. This guy interviewed Mendoza when he was a sophomore. He was at Belen Jesuit. That video went viral today. Interviewed CJ Bailey. He just posted that one. Interviewed Carson Beck. So all the quarterbacks that we're talking about today, he's interviewed all those guys. So shout out to Street. We'll talk about that when he gets on here. Hawaii Kane, man, appreciate you. Hawaiian Kane, I'm sorry. Appreciate you. Your support. It says their middle linebacker, Aiden Fisher, really good, but can he withstand 60 minutes of our OL pounding away? Their DL is undersized, average 275 and 280. Yeah, I mean, they're undersized, and they're missing their best defensive lineman as well. So I think that's the other part about this. So look at Stephen Daly, who's himself an undersized player at 260, Kent State transfer. He's been, to me, by far their best player. If you look at his stats, I'm just pull up this guy's senior stats, because he was really a big-time player for him. 19 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks. All right, and that's what they're missing on the bench. Now, we're going to be missing some corners, or at least we're going to be potentially missing some corners. We're going to be beat up at corner. I don't know how that's going to be. Certainly, we know we're missing Xavier Lucas for the first half, but that's a big miss when you have 19 tackles for loss right there, missing from your defensive line, going against the best offensive line in the country. We'll see how that turns out. Hassan, appreciate your donation to Canes Connection, man. Everybody wants to be part of this and support this. CanesConnection.com/CIS. All right. Comment here says, I want it. Christ, his name is Christ is God, Messiah, and King. It says, D, I want us to win so bad, not just because it's all about the U, but man, the amount of people talking reckless and straight crazy is infuriating. The disrespect as if IU is the greatest team in history. Yeah, their fans are cocky for the fact that they've been good for 10 minutes. You know, it's interesting that they're so confident. It's fine. Their team's been playing good, but the cockiness is unbelievable. They've been good for 3 minutes, and they're talking like this. But again, part of not being good for ever, your entire history, is you don't know how to act, and they don't know how to act. Wait till this job is done, not because they have any impact on the game. Obviously, they're just fans, but because their words are going to get put in their face when Miami's able to run the ball down their throat, push around those 260-pound defensive linemen, bury those corners, humiliate those tackles, and put their Heisman quarterback into the ground. Now, look, the quarterback himself, Mendoza, we know how I feel about him. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy. He is what he is reputed to be. You read about it when I did that coaches show, reading those comments from the coaches, from Bruce Feldman. I agree with what they said. He's not going to be rattled. You can hit him a million times. He's going to keep coming after you. You just got to run out of time with more points on the board. And that's really what it is with Mendoza. He's not a guy that, like, if you hit him enough, he'll just shell up and quit. He's got great faith. He's got great resilience. He's got size and durability. So you got to hit him. You got to get him to the ground, but you can't expect him to not keep coming. You got to be always attacking, always vigilant, and always ready for him because he's not going to go down until the clock runs out. All right, let's see here. Let's talk a little portal here before we bring in Street. I've been digging all day. I can tell you guys, I've been trying to get some word on the portal. It's been very quiet. I think the names that you hear the most, and this is not really direct sources. These are guys that know things but are not the source. Just people that would be informed. People in the agent community, people around the program, not necessarily right into it. But two names that make the most sense, assuming they have not signed contracts that bind them to their school, and I don't think they have, based on it, I've not heard anything to say they have, would be Noah Fafita, the quarterback for Arizona, and then, of course, CJ Bailey, the quarterback out of NC State. We've talked a lot about both guys, but those are the names that keep coming up when I talk to people as far as like who makes sense here. Those are the names that keep coming up. Both really could use better players around them. Both, I think, can lead us back to the playoffs. I like both players. I think you win the ACC with both of them. Much different, but I think they both can get the job done. Both experienced. Noah Fafita, very experienced. CJ Bailey, for a 19-year-old, very experienced. The issue with Fafita, I think, is the fact that he's a hometown hero in a lot of ways, or at least he's been at Arizona for so long that he's kind of like a guy there. They really like him. He's got a legacy there. To just leave as a senior is tough. I know Ty Simpson made those comments, but unlike Ty Simpson, Fafita's actually been doing stuff at Arizona that hasn't been done in a while, and he's been there. So that's tough there. And then Bailey, who's got to get everybody on board to make it happen. I think that's what it is. The stars got to line up, and everybody's got to come to their senses on that one. I think it makes the most sense for everybody, but it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Let's get some questions here. What we got going on? CanesMan Lad says, listen to ESPN, they make you believe Mendoza's Tom Brady. That's good. We want that. That's going to make Ruben Bain and everybody else feel a certain way. I already heard James Brockermeyer on the ESPN broadcast talking about, we know we're underdogs. We know no one's picking us. It's exactly what you want. Baganow says, the offense we run is simple. Just find some elite wide receivers and hand the ball to Coleman. He'll be handing off and throwing short passes all year like Beck. Not difficult. Coleman. Not sure who he's referring to there. I think he was talking about someone else. Beach Train asking, D, is this your full-time gig now? Feels like you're doing 10 shows a day. Full-time gig. Still my toe in the lawyer world, but this is the main job. And listen, we have the national championship on Monday. We're trying to find a portal quarterback. A lot to work on. Carl M.I. says, Steele Pitt's quarterback. Yeah, so I probably should update on that because Mason Heinschel, and I don't know what prompted this, so it's interesting timing. But Mason Heinschel, the quarterback for Pitt, posted today for one reason or another. I'll let people fill in the blanks. But Mason Heinschel posted today. He's back. I don't know if you can read what he wrote there. So it says, fight on, Pittsburgh. I don't know. Very, very small font, but it sounds like he's back. That's why he's posting that. Look, Heinschel's a good player. I like Heinschel. But again, when it comes to ACC quarterbacks, I think the best fit is the one that is playing in Raleigh. Bagging Up says, incoming freshman D. Okay, so that's what you're talking about, Coleman. Have Coleman hand off. I understand what you were saying, Bagging Up. I was confused. He says, know the roster. Yeah, I got you. I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah. So Darren Coleman at quarterback, handing off next year, run game heavy. If Fletcher comes back, yeah, I could see it. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Rocco sweating bullets. I hope you're sweating bullets about the championship game on Monday. Not this portal thing. Look, I'm a little anxious about it. I'm checking my phone a lot. I'm refreshing a lot on CanesInsight.com. 7.5 million posts and counting. But, I mean, how much stress can you have? We've been waiting a long time for this, and it's been done. I was stressed that we would never be back. because we got left behind in the conference realignment, because our brand just got so diluted that we became Nebraska, that the administration gave up. I was worried about those things happening, and that's all past. So I'm stress-free. I'm anxious. I'm excited. Excited to see where our new quarterback is, and even more excited to see what happens on Monday. Nervous. I'm not nervous. Nervous has been the last 23 years, wondering if we're going to have a program. Nervous is worried about, the death penalty on CNN. You guys remember that, some of the older guys. So I'm worried about that kind of stuff. Not worried about this. Let's see what's going on. Biggie Bejeebers says Fletcher's going to put them on a stretcher. The small DB is going to feel the pain. It's Fletcher. We ride. They are not the biggest team, man. I think they're going to have trouble tackling Fletcher. They're a good tackling team, but physics is physics, right? Physics is what it is. And 230 pounds, fast, aggressive. I mean, he was running over Sonny Styles, and I love those Indiana linebackers as far as how they play and how smart they are. They are not Sonny Styles, right? They're not Arvell Reese. And Fletcher was smoking those guys. The York, the linebacker for Texas A&M, Fletcher was burying that guy. So these are good players. They're physical, but there is a matter of bigger, faster, stronger, more violent. And Miami is bigger, faster, stronger, more violent at most positions. We'll see how that plays out. But when you have a size advantage and you're underrated, you can do some damage. Let's see. Yeah, JVP says, to be the best, you got to beat the best. They're number one team. They're undefeated. They're talking about them like they're LSU. To be who we want to be, we got to beat them. You got to beat Mendoza in Miami with all the hype around it. It's just the way it's supposed to be. Over 1,500 on. Like and subscribe to the show. So Canesman Laz says, Ole Miss Edge just entered the portal. Let me pull up this guy because I just got that update as well. So let me pull it up. His name is Princely Uman Yellen. Let's see here. He's number one on Ole Miss. Did a good job against us, I thought. Beat Markel Bell a couple times. Got pancaked a couple times painfully. But I thought he was pretty good. Certainly a talented player. There you go. So it's Prince Will, not Prince Lee. Prince Will entering the portal. We'll see where he goes. Appreciate you, Kirk Ranger. Quarterback next year. Who you want it to be and who you think it'll be. Appreciate the late night sessions. Who I think it'll be, I have no idea. Who do I want it to be? I've been saying it since the beginning. Since the last whistle blew on the regular season. CJ Bailey. Before that, actually. That's what I want. Without further ado, I see him there in the lounge. He is the man who interviewed Mendoza when he was, 14, 15. Interviewed CJ Bailey when he was still in high school. Carson Beck when he was just an unknown, little-known player at Georgia. So he's got a step ahead, and he's a legend, man. He is Caneville, Footballville's Daryl Streeter. Street, how we doing?
What's up, bro? What's going on, man?
You look like you're in the VIP right now, man. It's dark out there. What's going on?
VIP with a bunny behind me, man.
No. Yeah, I was about to say the quality might have slipped there with what you got behind you, but
what's good, bro?
I'm loving life, man. I was just, people are stressed out about the quarterback situation. I'm just grateful, man.
Yeah.
I saw you out there in the Bulls working hard, taking it all in.
I know. I put on my Lane Cotton Bowl hat just for you, bro.
I love it, man. That's a good hat too. They were giving the stuff they give away at those bowls is nice.
I got an Alexa. I gave it to one of the villains. From the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl they all were done a little different. The Cotton Bowl was really, 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 really nice. I put on all the credentials. I think I lost one though. I got the Fiesta Bowl one and the Cotton Bowl one, and I'm missing one. Right? Where we went first? With Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Yes.
Wasn't. What was that? There. That wasn't the book. I'm missing that credential.
Yeah, I got to get that headshot to put on these thumbnails because every time I got to pull a thumbnail out about you, I get all these like AI super streets. I got to get the headshot. I got the super streets on when I try to find your photo. But man, the journey you're on, man. As far as we'll talk about some of this stuff because you went viral today with that interview with Mendoza. I think it's going viral as we speak. I got like 7 different tweets of it back when he was at Belen Jesuit wearing the UM clothes. We'll talk about that. You saw that, right? How that was getting fired.
Yeah. 305 Sports found it, bro. I'll be honest with you, bro. I do a lot of stuff. They found it, and 305 people don't know 305 Sports. There's some kids. There's some little kids. They're very courageous. They work hard. And all of these trips, I'm always with them. Like, I'm there with them, whether it's the airport, whether it's the field we run, you know what I'm saying? They found the damn interview, and I was just in shock. I was like, bro, how did y'all find that? That's like in the middle of a camp. And they put some of it up, and then ESPN reached out to me today. It was like, hey, we're trying to see if we can get access to utilize your Mendoza video if you own it on all of our platforms. And D, I'm at this point now, D, where I'm like, no. Hey man, listen. Who do I need to talk to? We need to really talk some real business, okay?
Oh, you know what? I was about to pull it up myself, but now I'm worried I'm gonna get a copyright hit. So I'm gonna leave that one alone.
No, ESPN is different. Like it's like I've let them use my content numerous times, right? But then you realize that you don't really like nothing comes from it. Like nothing. So let's talk business. I mean, okay, let's figure that out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I interviewed him at a camp. He was at a camp, and I'm sure at that time he would love to be in the Miami Hurricane. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes. So it didn't work out that way, but it definitely worked out for him.
Oh yeah, no, he was at Belen. It was so old. The one you showed, he was at Belen, my alma mater. I actually got the Belen, my high school sweater right here. Still
right.
Fits like a glove. What can I tell you? But that was a video going crazy. The CJ Bailey you posted as well, because he's been the man of the hour, and you talked to him in high school. We're gonna get to that. You had a long sit down with Beck, which you posted before this season, but that was like way before he became Carson Beck. You had that one early,
right?
But it's funny because now those are all the stars of the show, right? Going to Bailey, who's actually not playing on Monday, but we got to talk about him because, to me, Miami, the whole 26 season, like we're deciding the 26 national championship, 25, 26 national championship, the 26 regular season, 27 championship. We're trying to find out what's happening right now in the portal. Like this is huge for the future of the Miami Hurricanes. It's happened at the same time, which is crazy. What are your thoughts on the quarterback portal process, where Miami's at, where Miami should be doing?
I'll tell Miami fans this, man. I'm gonna tell you this. D, I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure you up there. You've been around a long time.
Yeah, I'm up there. I'm 40.
Right. I tell Miami fans this. Listen. In 3 days, Miami will take the field to play in the national championship. We've been waiting for this for 25 years. And for these 3 days, I urge you guys to enjoy what's going on and to be in the moment, right? And not worry about, is Lyle leaving? Is CJ Bailey coming? Are we looking for quarterbacks? It's been a long time, D. Like, D, you remember the first 10 years where we always used to be like, Miami gonna be back this year. And then we went 15 more years of getting our ass whooped, right?
Yeah, that Virginia game where we lost 48-0, and we thought the Northwestern kids were going to save us. Remember that? When the Ja'Cory and all those guys were going to come save us. I mean, that was what, 17 years ago?
Damn, bro, why did you have to say that shit? I'm gonna dye my hair.
17 years ago. That was supposed to be
cut all my hair off again.
You're good. That was supposed to be the end of it. Like, we were supposed to be coming out of it with those Northwestern guys. That was 17 years ago.
17 years ago. So I'm gonna preface whatever I'm about to say with that. I just drove by the stadium. I'll be there Monday. And I'll put some. I got some stuff I want to put out about that too. But dog, listen, be in the moment. Like, be in the moment, because we're gonna be fine at quarterback. Like, whoever quarterback is, he's gonna stand behind a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have the best, second best, third best running back in the nation in Mark Fletcher next year. I think we're going to be fine, right? So, but I just urge you guys to stay in the moment. Like whatever happens Monday night, like it's going to be over, and you got to realize that you've been wanting this to happen for the longest. But that being said, if Miami was to ever get CJ Bailey, D, if Miami wins a national championship and comes back with CJ Bailey as their quarterback, you're talking about the city would be on fire. They would have to put standing room in that stadium somewhere like Dallas. I don't know if they're going to have to build another platform, but they would have to build a place where people can go just stand up, because the city would be on fire. And I'm here to tell you, he is the guy for the job. He's the guy for the job because I've seen him as a kid manage. Like I sent you the text message today.
Yep.
His whole life, he was in the huddle with Jeremiah Smith, JoJo, Chance Robinson, Wayne McCoy. The star of those guys was the running back, Bullet. Bullet was the star when they were kids. And he calmly managed that situation across the nation, to California, to Virginia, I never saw him flustered or bothered. So I'm saying this in youth football. I'm saying this because I saw him do it in youth football. And I want people to understand this. I know because you think that it's youth football, but college is different. Well, from a dude who got to see Jerry Jeudy, Malachi Tony, I'm here to tell you that is not. And I don't know how to put that in words, D. It's not. It's not. It's Malachi Tony was a cerebral quarterback. He looked like he was beyond his years. And today, Malachi Tony is a wide receiver that looks like what? He's beyond his years.
100%.
Yeah. So CJ, who made throws funny, who came here, had a bad game, which was kind of crazy, like things I've heard about that. But if you put him in the huddle, with our cast of characters, he will be right back at home, and he would manage that. Who he is and his brain and how he processes the game. He would manage that to the team. He would help Dawson. He'll help Dawson again.
I heard a story, and I'm sure it's true because who told me it. I'll leave the name of the other player out. Mm-hmm. But I heard that CJ Bailey, in one of his practices, one of the other players was flipped. A teammate, talented, physical teammate, was flipping stuff to him, and he basically said, "Stop talking. I'll see you after, and we'll talk about it then. We're finished practice. I'll see you after." Yeah. And he saw him and resolved it. This is the skinny. He must have been. He's way skinnier back then than he is now. Quarterback, and he solved that confrontation. So I heard that from somebody that would know and has known these kids for a long, long time.
Yeah,
and I mean, combine that with the talent. Everything I've heard is the guy's a great kid, positive kid. Someone compared to Mark Fletcher in terms of just the energy he's bringing.
He's a leader of men, man. Like I tell you, could you imagine being in the huddle with Jeremiah and JoJo and you're out in California versus the Wilmington Pilots or it's Friday night when the White House comes here and it's 10,000 people at a youth football game and he has to listen to, and he's dealt with all of that. And I've never saw him look any different. Like I've never saw him, I never saw him stressed. I never saw him. And that's why he was able to go to NC State and do what he was able to do with less of cast of characters, if you ask me. If you would bring him here, national championship, we're back to the national championship again. Now, with that being said, if that can't happen, right? Miami goes to the national championship. I don't think it matters who they put at quarterback, D, because I think people are going to trust what they're saying, at least for the next 3 years. So if it's Luke Nickel, like they'll trust it, right?
Yeah.
Now, there probably would be growing pains with a Luke Nickel, right? If we had to go in-house, right? There would be growing pains with a Luke Nickel. But I think if there was a time where they could stay in-house, it's after a season like this. What you think?
I think that makes sense. Now, the offensive line is not going to be as good as it was this year, at least as far as experience, because you're losing Malinois. You're probably going to lose Markel Bell. Brockmeyer moves on. So there's going to be Cooper, who's been a starter for you for many years and is a leader on that team. He's one of the smartest guys, most physical. So you lose a lot. So I think there's a growing pain a little bit with the offensive line if you throw in, let's say, a Nickel or a Darion Coleman or someone like that, right? Because now, if it was this offensive line, a lot easier because those guys are all vets. Now it's a younger offensive line, younger quarterback. That's going to be a little bit. But I do think as a fan, yeah, you trust it because to win 3 top 10 games in a row, and no flukes, they've shown that they can build this thing up and patience is warranted. Yeah, well, you think Mario, that's probably why they slow putting on the quarterback. You think Mario going to let that offensive line be like, I
think they're gonna go ahead and get Jordan Seaton. I think they're gonna go. I think the offensive line is not gonna look. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna allow. That's where they spend money at. Because people don't understand. In the interior is where they actually splurge and spend money at.
I got some breaking news here. Not the big breaking news, but just this is relevant to the discussion. John Mateer, who was one of the few guys that hadn't announced anything, he's coming back to Oklahoma. So that just tells me he got a new deal. Teams were trying to lure him out of the portal probably. And that's why he hadn't announced. Because, I mean, he's announcing for a reason. I think he probably re-signed and got a nice raise for taking Oklahoma to the playoffs. So the options are dwindling at quarterback. Again, like you said, they could always go Emory, Luke Nickel, Darion Coleman, and just ride with that and try to add talent around it, like a Jordan Seaton you mentioned. Or they can keep looking. And, you know, I think back to when Penn State fired James Franklin, right? I'm the biggest James Franklin fan on the planet. I didn't think they should have fired him, but they did it, so whatever. That was done. After that, the logical next step is, okay, they're going to get Matt Campbell, right? Matt Campbell from Iowa State. They've been winning. He's kind of in that area. He's been producing. You got Jaden Higgins from down here. He's gotten real good players, Brock Purdy, Breece Hall. He'd be a good fit there.
Right.
But they went to try to get the BYU guy, who that fell through. Other guys came off the board. It looked like a complete disaster what they were trying to do at coach, and they fired James Franklin, who was a winning coach. Then, just luck would have it, end of the day, they get Campbell, who they probably should have had the first call, but it worked out for him. I'm hoping with this, look, it didn't. He should have been, in my opinion, he should have been wearing the UM sweater, sitting in the box watching the championship already. But it didn't happen that way. At least it hasn't to this point. So just because it didn't start correctly doesn't mean it can't end correctly like it did for Penn State. That's at least what I'm trying to wish into existence here. I'm trying to manifest it with this podcast and everything we're doing because it makes too much sense, man.
No, I reached out to some people and I heard, I mean, it could happen. I mean, it could happen, but I guess the business has to be right. And it's a touchy situation. I mean, it's a kid that you kind of passed up on until the last of the recruitment. Dad felt like, man, they just want my kid because they want Jeremiah, man. I think the best for us to do is go to NC State. And now here we go again. I mean, we get two quarterbacks on the board, willing to give them whatever. We don't get them. And then now, you know what I'm saying, he's third, fourth, fifth again. And so it's a touchy situation. But if CJ was to come here, it would set the city, like it would set the city on fire. And I'm here to tell you, he's the guy for the job. Now, you got guys out there like Noah Fafita. I like him. I've covered him since he was at the OC Buckeyes. Short guy, but can play football, period. I like Connor Wagman, too, at Houston. But I don't know if Miami looks for quarterbacks like that. I think they've set their sights on 2-3 guys.
Yeah.
And I think they go after him. And like I knew with Cam Ward, like it was Cam Ward, it was Will Howard, and then it was Ja'Cory Brown, Emory Williams. They were going to go in-house. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they got a board full of quarterbacks and they're just chasing everybody. It's not really. I don't think it's like that.
Let me ask you about this because we're going to move on to the game because, I mean, a pretty big game on Monday. Like you said, be where your feet are, live in the moment. But we had to do this, right? And this is, I joke about it. These portal things, I could talk about, I can give the playbook for Indiana's opening drive. And if I talk about some portal kid from Western Memphis State, people are going to be going wild and get twice as many clicks. It's just how it is. But I have to ask you about this guy because I know you've watched him a bunch. Teron Tiger Dickens. We saw Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss kind of go the hard way and become really good player. What do you see with him, and how do you see his future as an FBS quarterback?
I think there's a term in football called a light turning on. Like, and I think what happened to Tiger is he went to college and matured. He went to college. The talent had already been there. I mean, but he's from the hood. He grew up hood life. Always had the talent. And I think going to Western Carolina, I remember speaking to him at the state championship 2 years ago, and I told him, man, you sitting pretty right now. You just have to go ball. But when he was telling me where Western Carolina was located, I lived in Carolina for 10 years, I think. I had no fucking clue where he was. I was like, what? Like, show me the map. Put a map out. Like, where are you? Like, I had no clue where Western Carolina was. And I think that was good for him. Will somebody take a chance on Tiger? They're going to win. That kid we played against, Ole Miss, that kid we played against.
Yeah.
You tell me that looked like a D. Were you at the game?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the example I just used in terms of what maybe he could, because he was Division II. He wasn't even SCS like Tiger was. He was Division II.
Tell me that wasn't the best quarterback we played against this year.
Couldn't sack him.
and the ball was coming out his hand like a rifle. Like he had such a quick release. I don't know if it's Lane's offense, which is so simple that he just knows either, hey, if they're in this, we do this, and it's like, but he was better than Marcel Reese.
Yeah, he was.
So I believe it, but it's politics that goes with this thing, right? Like if you take a Tiger, right, like everything from 64th Street back will be going crazy, but will the Miami fans? Will that tickle their fancy? Like, will the Miami fans be happy because, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it a big name coming in? And it's like politics that goes with these things. Tiger needs to go somewhere where he has opportunity.
Yeah.
A real opportunity. Right? Not saying he's not good enough to come here, but you know how this stuff works, D. It ain't always who's the best guy. Like, I still don't know what happened at Ole Miss with Austin Simmons, and it still was kind of weird.
Yeah, he's gonna get. I mean, he went to Missouri, so
he's at Missouri now.
A great chance. I mean, it's like he's gonna have a good opportunity there. They get good offensive linemen, they get good players. So I think his story will be told there, and it's gonna be a good situation for him. But yeah, it's with Dickens at West Carolina. I think to Desmond Reed, different position, obviously as a running back, but smaller guy from Miramar, goes to West Carolina, then goes to Pitt, like you said, so he could play, and get an opportunity. And then he's been doing his thing and has been a very productive player. So I can see something like that.
That's what it's about. Syracuse, I think, gave him a visit. I don't know how serious they are, but the quarterbacks that they fucking had, they better tie Tiger to a chair.
Didn't like that lacrosse player that they threw out there.
Man, I don't know what was going on in Syracuse last year, bro.
Hey, well, Calvin Russell's a basketball player now. Well, he's been a basketball player, but now he's on their team, so maybe he got a better shot out there right now of getting the ball. But let's switch gears to the championship, but I wanted to switch gears in the same lane, talking about knowing these kids for a while. We started talking about that Mendoza interview, which, by the way, if you want to get that interview, talk to Kane, go talk to Daryl Streeter.
I just put it on Facebook. ESPN is trying to get it from me. I don't know if they're gonna, but I put it on. I put it on Facebook. I think 305 Sports put it out on Instagram somewhere.
So, but that video was real young. You've been watching this guy for a while. I am sure it was not. This is not like a Diabell situation or one of these dudes or Malachi that was kind of known for a while. Hey, this guy's going to be a player. He creeped up on people, which is interesting because he's so tall.
Yeah.
Now, my recollection, I'll click it to you. They really did not throw the ball a lot. Certainly at Belen, we ran the wing tee, so he wasn't throwing it there. Columbus, they threw more, but they still were not throwing a ton of footballs. And maybe that's why he kind of slid through the cracks a little bit. What's your recollection of Mendoza's rise here?
From what I can remember, I remember him being a backup. I think he backed up Carson Haggard at one point in time. His dad always was there getting him training. And I if I can remember correctly, I think the move to Belen was because it was just like, hey, we need to go play somewhere. We don't need to be sitting. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't need to be sitting for your whole. Let's go play somewhere. Even though Belen was I think they were still running the ball at the time, and that's kind of how I remember it. It was like, okay, he can go be the starter at Belen, or that's kind of how I remember that situation. But he ended up at Columbus, right? All right, his career ended up at Columbus.
Yep.
He was a kid. Everybody knew he was there. Everybody knew he had the size, but I don't think he looked the same as he looked now, D. Like he looked the same, like long throwing motion. He looked. I'll be honest with you, he looked the same, but he didn't get he didn't get the notoriety that he should have at high school. But he looked the same. He went out to Cal, and the quarterback got sick or got hurt, and he got a shot.
Like his strength when he started out there.
Mm-hmm. He just things started working out for him, and he got a shot. And I think what we saw the first half of Cal is that's who he is. I think. I think. It's no different than CJ. CJ had his throwing motion was sideways. People didn't think maybe he releases it too slow. He's not a college quarterback. I'm here to tell you, man, some of these kids just play football. And all that shit the experts be talking about, man, whatever. When the coin gets tossed and and the game starts. Some of the kids just they make it work. But he looked the same.
He's a South Miami Great Ghost too, 4-string there. So you talk about, going the hard way. South Miami Great Ghost, that's a pretty prestigious program down here in Miami, and he worked his way up the charts there. So that had to be a learning experience for him.
Yeah, I think it's no different than, I say the name Carson Haggard played for Gulliver. I thought Carson Haggard was 5'11", 6 foot, could play football. Man, and his stops at Tulane, he just kept going to places where it just didn't work out. Mendoza goes to Cal. CJ Belly goes to NC State, and the football gods shine on him.
You know when the football guys shined on those guys, Street? When they were born with the genetics to be 6'5", 6'6", and Carson Haggard 5'11".
That's part of it, right? That's part of people, these experts in wanting a quarterback, right? Both of them are tall kids. But they get a shot.
Let me ask you this. I want to get your thoughts on this, because I've said this theory on the show, but I didn't have someone who's been there to check me on it or to back me up, because you've seen a lot of these kids I'm talking about. One of my theories I said on the show is when you're a quarterback in South Florida, meaning you're playing competition, you're throwing to D1 receivers against D1 DBs, you're playing real football, and you are over 6 foot, let's say 2, and you have enough arm that you're getting real attention. How many of those guys really don't pan out? I feel the only guys that fail down here at quarterback are the ones that just don't have the size. When they have the size, they pretty much are rock solid to contribute.
Let me think.
Thinking of Gino, talking about, remember Mike White, those guys, Brandon
Mike
Doty,
White, Bailey,
taller guys,
Teddy Bridgewater,
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, they all did pretty. Yeah, the tall ones always did pretty good. The height thing is weird. That's why Malachi Tony mom and they didn't want to even play with it. They just moved him to wide receiver because it's almost like being prejudiced. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like Tiger and these guys breaking records at their schools and they don't have a star. Like they're not even rated, and it's just because of the height thing and the way colleges see things.
But I mean, look, it worked out for those two. We talk about Bailey, who was not, he was ranked, but he really surpassed expectations from the outside world. Mendoza definitely has. So some of those tall guys, man, I feel like they've seen real competition, so they don't get gun shy. They're not like, oh, I've never seen a good defensive back before. But at the same time, when they go to college, they get bigger, they get more fundamental, right? They get sturdier. Lamar Jackson's another one. Talk about a guy over 6'2", Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So those guys really don't bust that often when it comes to out of here.
You know what people don't think about? Like you take a CJ Bailey, who grew up playing against top competition, team was number 1 in the nation. Like when they go to college, people don't think about like who's Wake Forest defensive backs. Like sometimes they're playing against competition that's actually slower than what they grew up playing against.
That's right.
Right. And people don't take that, they don't take that in consideration. Like all college teams don't have a bunch of dogs. Right? They all don't recruit 4 and 5 stars. So half of your schedule might be guys that wouldn't be on the same field with you, but I mean it worked out where they went to college and hey, they're on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? And you got to play against them. But people don't think about that a lot.
Look at the guys that you're looking at in this national championship game, and these were good players, fast players, but I mean D'Angelo Pons, Jamari Sharp, these are not strangers to you. We've seen these guys since they were running track, making plays down here. And now they're starting in the championship game against Miami.
Yeah. And Pons just makes plays, man. What you think is about to happen Monday, D?
What's up?
What you think is about to happen Monday? What do you
think about Monday? I love the matchup, man. I love the match. I said it earlier on the show. If you're the more physically talented team, bigger team, I think people would say Miami. Faster team, I think people would say Miami. More violent team, both teams physical, but I think people would say Miami's just a little more violent, a little more nasty with what they do. Okay, well, you're those three checked for Miami, and you're the underdog on top of that, and you're playing at home. That combo to me, I like. When you're the more talented team and you're the underdog. And
right.
Top teams, so you're 3 top 10 teams in a row, so you're hot too.
Right.
So, that to me, I like the matchup. They're good. They're number one. They're undefeated. I mean, it's no secret that they're good, but I do like our size and our talent advantage. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we are a bad match for them. But most people don't. I mean, most people, the commentators, the experts, a lot of them don't know it. It hit me after we beat Ohio State. I went to Texas A&M. I watched that game. I came back. I'm talking to the villains. I'm telling the villains, man, Texas A&M wasn't as good as I thought they was. They're like, oh, Street, man, you always trying to downplay, yada 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 yada. Then we go in Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? I got a feeling we could beat them, but it's almost like the football gods are saying, okay, this was a nice run. This is where it's supposed to stop. And Ohio State looks a step slower than us.
Except one guy, but yes.
Yeah, except one guy. But I'm sitting in the hotel room and I'm saying to myself, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's not the teams. Maybe we're bigger and faster than these teams who's supposed to be better than us. And that's when it hit me that was the best defense in the country, points given up, and they didn't have a chance to stop our offense. Like the offense came right out and started running down their throat, and that's when it hit me like, dog, maybe this SEC ACC shit has got to me too, but we're better than those teams. We're more violent and we're faster. So the world don't understand where we are. They're not going to realize it until we kicking people ass in the playoffs next year, D. That it's not going to hit them till later. Vegas saying we're 8.5 point underdog. I tell people, listen, don't get stuck in the betting world because that is not the real world. That is not the real world. The betting world is them trying to get you to bring money in. Real world is Miami hasn't lost by 7 points in fucking 800 months. That's the real world.
Yeah, real world is the size too. The scale. That's the real world right there. These guys step on a scale, put a stopwatch on them. Those things are not hype, narrative. I mean, that's going to be real and felt. I want to ask you this before we let you go, Street. And by the way, you've been awesome, man. I love these shows. People love it. The numbers are crazy. We're at 2,700 right now on a random Thursday. We didn't have a topic. I didn't have no news to go on. I just said Street's coming. But I want to ask you this. A lot of players on this team, and we could go through the list. Mark Fletcher. You talk about Malachi Toney, of course, Wesley Basaint, Ahmad Moten, Ruben Bain, OJ Frederique, Xavier Lucas, Bryce Fitzgerald. I'm leaving a lot out. Armando Blunt. Local guys that you have watched since they were young.
Right.
Getting to know the families. I'm starting to get to know the families more since I'm doing the Storm Session show and interviewing families. It's changed my perspective on the whole deal because now I know kind of the whole picture, and it's different when you watch the game and you see these guys succeed and fail and you want them to do well even more than you already did.
Right.
How's it like for you watching all of these kids that are now growing into men playing not very far from where they grew up, played high school ball, played Pop Warner, and being in this spotlight? You haven't watched the whole journey.
See that's part of what people that's part of the problem, D, because what you're experiencing now, like I grew up watching them and their families and their, hey man, get a video, you get a picture of my son, and I'm invested kind of in JoJo's life. I'm invested in Malachi and his mom, and with me having a media company, I never tried to be unbiased. No, I want them to win. I want Jeremiah to win. I want, what I'm saying? I want them to be winners in life. And it kind of becomes a conflict sometimes when you're doing media. And watching Mark Fletcher, me knowing his dad, and when he came to interview with me, he brought his dad, and his dad was always for us. And watching him kind of grow into a man, right? And the light kind of turned. He kind of accept, okay, my dad's gone, but his legacy lives on. You can tell he kind of accepted it, and boom, he looks like the kid at Plantation again against Texas A&M. And I started telling the villains, Ohio State's not going to stop him. I told them before, I said, they're not going to stop him. The light has turned on for Mark. I don't know if he's in the pistol. I don't care what it is, but they're not going to stop him. And he hasn't been stopped. But it is definitely, I have my moments, man. I have my moments. I'll be honest with you. I have my moments. When Brashard Smith broke up the middle versus Clemson, and he looked just like he looked when he was 8 years old, and I'm in the end zone, and water came to my eyes because I'm texting Miami, hey, listen, hand Bouchard off the ball with his shoulder square to the stop giving him fucking end rounds. With his shoulder square, hand him off the ball, and you see, and that's what they did. He went right up the middle. All his kickoffs was right up the middle, and that's what he looked like as a kid.
That's what he's doing for the Chiefs.
That's exactly. As a kid, that's what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? So and it kind of brought, because I know it's in them, and I want them to win. And sometimes it becomes a conflict with the media thing. You know what I'm saying? It does, because you start sounding like a homer. You start sounding like you, but it's just like you're just a little more invested. But man, I love it. I love it. I've seen it over and over again. And quick story.
Give it to me.
You got a minute? Malachi Tony drops the pass in the state championship as a freshman. You see how he acts when he fumbles and stuff. Now, very passionate. He's devastated. Runs to the locker room. I don't think the damn game was over. He runs to the locker room. I run behind him, and he's in the locker room, and I get there. He's laying on the ground. I take a picture of him. Then I say, hey, man, get your ass up. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're going to fall. You're going to get up. You're going to get up, and he's on the ground, and he's crying, and I take this picture of him, right? And I hold the picture to last year was his mom's birthday, and I sent her the picture. And she's like, why you send me a picture on his birthday? You know I'm there, right? But D, in that moment, I had seen Cam Harris get the ball snatched for him at Northwestern at the end of the when all he had to do was down the ball. Northwestern snatched the ball from Cam Harris, runs it in, wins the game. And then I saw what happened to Cam Harris after that. So I had seen it. I had seen that this is just the trials and tribulations of him becoming who he is. Let me take this picture, because I had never showed it to anybody but her. She was the first person that saw it. Let me take this picture because I know where this is going, and I know how this is going to end. And one day, she's going to be happy I took the picture. So when she was going crazy, it's my birthday. You see me this picture? And all I said back to her was, what if I didn't take it? Because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, what if I didn't take it? And she got quiet, because she listens. Like, she's not like most women. Man, that's horrible. She listens. She does. She listens. She got quiet, and she said, I understand. Like, what if I didn't take it? Now he's one of the most famous wide receivers in the world, and the thing that motivates him, he has a picture to go with it.
Great story. Shout out to Miss Tony, by the way. She watches the show. We love Miss Tony, but it's like, and it's crazy, because when he had that situation in Texas A&M, he drew on that experience. He had to have. How could he not have?
Bro, every time I say state championship, he thinks I'm talking about the fucking first one. In the interview, no, Mally, I'm talking about when you beat Darion. Like, it's not like, but that's on his mind. That's what drives him. What happened in the first one, and nobody's thinking about that but him. And that's his driving force.
And then the fumbles, he had the fumbles, and then you came back, and what did he do? Game-winning touchdown, or got to take the lead, played an incredible game. I mean, every time he just gets better and better, and he's resilient, man. It's crazy. And starts with those moments.
Pretty amazing, man. He is. He's pretty amazing. His dad was amazing. His mom is an amazing woman. He's cut from a different cloth. I want him to start getting down, though. I don't like him. He's a tough motherfucker, but I don't like him taking these hits over and over again. Like, we got 2 more years of this shit, Mally. You know what I'm saying? Like, Like, get on the ground.
He's blocking linebackers, man. So I mean,
he is.
That's why he's special, man. That's why they've been talking about him since he was a kid, man. But hey, tell them where they can find you so they can know not just what's happening now, what happened before, but what's happening next. Where do they find you?
Okay, listen, on football, but I got something else for you, D. So listen, I know these tickets are outrageous. I mean, the Villains thought they found a suite for $10,000, and they realized the suite was $10,000 each person, 14 people, $149,000, right? These ticket prices are crazy, right? But we're credentialed to be at the game, and maybe you can't. They've priced out regular people, right? But we're saying if you have a business, right? We're doing an activation for some local businesses, right? If you have a business and you want your business to be a part of the content and the weekend, we're taking sponsorships, right? Sponsorships or promotion or marketing for your business. And we'll put you in the midst of our content and market you for the weekend. I mean, because I've been doing it for the last 4 bowl games. I mean, something goes viral every time. It gets millions and millions of views. Me asking Carson, did he really want to play Georgia? They got 1 million views, went crazy. So if you got a business, man, you can send me a text, 786-459-9499. If you want, I don't care what it is. I don't care if your grandma sells frozen cups or whatever. If you got the money to pay for sponsorship, we're going to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And we'll sponsor, we'll promote your business within this weekend. It's about to start Friday. Everything starts Friday. I pick up my grandchild tomorrow, man, and I think Saturday night Indiana gets here. We get access to go see that, and it's on, D.
Listen, if you're by the team hotel, I literally live walking distance from it out here in Miami Beach. So text
Really?
me. Yes, sir. I like the word media day is like that's where my kids play sports. Like across the street, I'm walking.
Oh, okay.
I'm walking there. So hit me up. We'll get coffee or
Oh
something.
no, I'll be down there all weekend. I mean, that's where a lot of stuff is going down there.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, appreciate you. And yeah, if you're not following Caneville, man, you're messing up. You're missing out on the next Malachi Tony. So don't do that. We'll bring you back here for the celebration.
All right, bro.
Shout out to the villains.
Yo,
see you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Oh man, it's always fun. Love when Street comes on, man. It's that was cool. That's a cool story about that picture, man. That's Mally. Whenever he asks for the state championship, doesn't ask about the one he won. It's about the one that he lost 3 years before. That's why he is what he is. So again, we're trying to elevate here in 2026. You see the new studio. I got the lace your boots up back there. You see how we're doing it. We're trying to elevate. We're trying to take it to another level. Trying to switch up the way it looks, the guest, the presentation, the graphics. When Pete's at least producing, we up the graphics. We're trying to elevate this whole deal with this national championship program. And part of that elevation, taking it to a new level, is trying to get the buzz without the booze, trying to get the relax without the tax. We all know what the tax is when you're knocking back a few too many. And to do that, we had to not just look outside for a new beverage sponsor. We had to look within the family. We're looking so tight inside the Canes family. I'm looking no further than the chat right here. The CanesInSight chat is where I found Papas. Now, I'm pronouncing it the Spanish way. Papas Alternative Brew. This thing right here from the forest of Southwest Oregon. I'm going to pop one right now in honor of our next guest. Family member, CanesInSight chat member, and a partner, beloved partner now of the CanesInSight podcast, Nick West. Nick, how we doing?
Oh, it's so great to be on. Thanks so much. I got the IPA over here. You got the lager. So
yeah, well, I got them all. I got a whole closet full. You know, they're about to fall over and kill one of my kids. But I got the Lucky Lager right here. This is what I like. The American Unwind, Nick.
All right.
Very nice. Who's writing? Are you writing the copy or you pay someone to write the copy?
No, we've got someone more clever than myself, you know. But the cool thing about these is that they're an actual beer, but we've stripped all the alcohol. So 0.0 alcohol. The good stuff to get you a little buzz, a little THC, and a couple other things to give it the real flavor. And you can tell the folks, what do you think?
Oh, Snap says, no way. I was just talking to Nick West. Yeah, Nick West is he's there in the chat. Let me tell you what I think. First of all, by the way, how many milligrams of THC in this one?
7.5 in the lager, just like the old buzzing, and then 10 in the IPA.
So first of all, I mean, I'm taking a sip now. I've had a few sips. I've had these for a couple of days trying to line up our schedule. So I've had more than a few sips, especially as I'm stressing about this portal. But I could say it's a beer is what it is. I mean, it is a beer. It's been you don't have to be someone leaving alcohol to enjoy it. You could just be someone that wants a good drink. But as someone who used to drink a lot of beers, and quite frankly, I've not drank a beer, even a non-alcoholic beer, probably in like 3 years, because when you don't drink alcohol, beer is not that fun to drink. This tastes like beer and you get a buzz. So that
Yeah.
feeling, that cold feeling, which, you know, I would drink like cold, like water from a can just to replicate that feeling watching a game, you know, because that's a great feeling, that nice cool hit when you're watching a game. This is a million times better because it's actually a beer.
And you get a little buzz. No, and for a non-alcoholic, we've been in the space working on this for a good year. And all of the feedback we've received is that this is one of the most, if not the most authentic tasting non-alcoholic beers. Because one of the problems you run into is that you end up stripping the alcohol and stripping so much of the flavor. Now, what we've done is we've re-enhanced it, and it just gives it that really authentic taste. I appreciate you pulling up the website there. Yeah, we've got the IPA, the Lucky Lager, and then the Papa's Pilsner is soon to come. But and I'm just really appreciative of being on. You know, I love the show. I'm all up in the chat every time, you know. But hey, come on. You know I want to talk football.
Well, hold on. We're going to get there. I watched some film. We're going to get there, but I want to talk about Papas a
okay.
little more. And I know it's Papas, right? But I got to say Papas. I get used to hear my kids say it all the time. It's stuck in my brain. They say it that way. But first of all, the design, everything is sick. It's really high class. And like, if you guys want to support a Kane, like he's in the chat. Like, it's not just a Kane grad or someone that like, he tunes in to watch the championship. This Nick's in the trenches, man. You'll know how deep he is in the trenches when we get to our next conversation. But Nick is in the trenches. So you're supporting, and tell them, by the way, look, they're not all in Southwest Oregon. Shout out to Southwest Oregon, but those who are in South Florida, those who are in North Florida, those who are all across New York City, Chicago, wherever, tell them where they can get Papa's Alternative Brew.
So you can get it at bevbrothers.co. That's bevbrothers.co. We just launched the website. We're getting with distributors in Florida. And hey, if anyone watching has a restaurant or a bar and they want to get us on tap, we've got kegs and we'll ship down to you. We're excited to get it going. You know, we're true Canes fans. I mean, I grew up in the Orange Bowl, you know, the closed West End zone. I mean, I was like 6 years old, like watching them in 86 and 87, just at the peak. Yo, man, I'm a huge fan, dude. I'm so honored that he even notices. I mean, I'm such a huge fan. You guys have no idea. I live for this stuff.
Cubano Kane says, Nick just DoorDash 5 Little Caesar pizzas. I know you were working hard on the farm yesterday so you could get out here to the championship game. So when do you get here?
Flying down tomorrow. I couldn't be more excited. I do have to ask, though, are we going to be outnumbered? I'm worried about that because of how ridiculously priced the tickets are.
No, I mean, we got money too. You know, I think they got to pay. They got to pay for the tickets. Plus, they got to pay for their flight. They got to pay for their hotel. I mean, so I don't think we'll be outnumbered. I mean, maybe it was scary seeing what happened at that. Was it the Sugar Bowl? The one, or it was the Sugar Bowl. It was the Peach Bowl, where they outnumbered Oregon heavy. But you know, you live in Oregon. Number one, Oregon's very far, like extremely far from everything that's college football related, and Indiana's not exactly down the street from Atlanta, but it's closer. That's number one. Number two, you know, Oregon's fan base, again, you're out there. Oregon's a big state, as you know, as I know, but people kind of assume it's all just like Portland. Like Oregon is a big state with a lot of different stuff going on. You know, Eugene, just the Oregon fan base, like it's strong, but I don't know if it's travel across the country, fill up a stadium strong. I don't know what you think about that.
And I was honestly cheering for Oregon for that reason. I figured if it was, I mean, I know that Oregonians are lazy, you know, if we invent holidays just to get a day off. So, and I say I've become one, but I grew up in South Florida, you know, and I mean, I can envision myself drinking one of those Lucky Lagers down on Hollywood Beach. So,
hey, you tell me. I got a closet full of them, so holler at me.
Hey, well, I'll be seeing you this weekend. But yeah, no, Oregonians would not be traveling to this game. It's a really long flight, and there'd be some, but it's not the same culture. Not like South Florida. I mean, we're so committed to the Hurricanes. You got people like me, and I've even met people in the industry out here, in the industry I'm in, who are huge Hurricanes fans. And they drove down for the Cal game. I had tickets, but then I had to give them up. I was too caught up with work.
Well, you picked the right time to go right into the championship game. Everything's operational. I'm on papasaltbrew.com. That one you can also order right from there. Is that operational for ordering from there?
And honestly, we're doing Bev Brothers because we want to carry several brands. We're going to throw Buzzin' on there just to, show them the love that they showed us as a team throughout the season. So you'll be able to get Buzzin' through our Bev Brothers website in the near future. And yeah, we're excited, man.
So anywhere you are, it's not just right in Oregon. You can get this Florida.
Yep.
I mean, you tell me. You're you're a lawyer. Where can they get it? What states can they get it in order to their place?
There's a few. I think New York is cracking down. Basically, anywhere where they have a rec market, they tend to, like a recreational THC market, they tend to regulate the hemp market. These are qualified as hemp beverages. So Florida all day. We actually have a retail store in Tampa, St. Pete. It's called TKO Farms. It's over there on Central Ave. But we're sold in Orlando in a few places, a couple places in Jacksonville. But I tell you what, I'm going to a couple of spots while I'm down there for the game, so everyone can maybe get it over at Duffy's or something. That would be really cool.
He's calling me right now on the other line. We'll see if we can make that happen. They're already talking about it in the chat. Someone already mentioned it in the chat. So you're part of the family. You're already part of the family, but now Papa's Alternative Brew is part of the family. I'm excited. Not that high on the calories either. There's only 60 calories. So, it's less than a beer. Beers I'm used to.
It's way less. That's the nice thing about stripping the alcohol. And then when the THC, there's no calories. So you get in a real low dose or low calorie beverage. Yeah.
Fired up. All right. So let's talk about what you really want to talk about here. I did some film work. I was watching San Jose State, right? The blue and yellow San Jose State. Yeah. So I was watching San Jose State highlights, watching some Stanford, them against Stanford, watching some highlights, watching just some assorted throws. I saw a quarterback with a big arm, man, that just hit the portal. Talk to me, Nick.
Walker Eget. I keep messing up his name every time I try to spell it in the chat, but I'm telling you, this guy can play. He's got a nice arm. He's mobile enough, and he did it against an ACC team. I mean, granted, it's Stanford. It's not the top of the top tier, but I think he's a good quarterback. But the thing for me about Eget that is intriguing is that the staff's not going for him. So what does that tell you? It tells me that Mike Ryan is right, that they like Emory. They really like Emory, and they probably really like Luke Nickel. And they look at a guy like Eget with his strong arm, his starting experience, and they say, he ain't better than what we got.
What are you saying now? We'll see. We'll see when the clock starts ticking and the portal closes tomorrow. He's already in the portal from what I saw. So he's there. So he didn't have to, you don't have to get him this week. He's in the portal right now. But man, how do you catch your attention? Because again, I know we're joking about it. He does have his numbers are not that good. I will say his numbers are on the mediocre side.
Yep.
Completion under 60, the touchdown interception, not that good. But the arm is really good. Like the highlights, man, he was whipping the ball, NFL type stuff. Where do you see this guy?
I'm just bored at night, flipping through like we all do, flipping through the portal roster, and I saw him, and I was like, watch some highlights. So yeah, nothing special. I'm not Lance Roffers over here breaking it down. So doing stuff before I fall asleep on the couch. But he came. It's pretty clear. I think it jumps off the film.
If we get Walker Eget, or actually wherever he goes, you got to get him a deal with Papas, man. We need to give Walker a Papas.
I am. All right. I got to send him out something. Bro, I've been hyping you, man. You got to represent.
I just love the slogan, the American Unwind. I really do. I was just walking down the street today. I had to, I'm a big walker now. I live in a very Jewish neighborhood, like Orthodox Jewish neighborhood. Everybody walks all day. They walk during the day. They walk in the middle of the night, like kids, old people, people just walk. They like walking. They're walking constantly. Not just on the Sabbath. It is a nonstop walk fest all week. So I'm like, I'm all right. I'm just going to start walking at random times, put my headphones on, try to get inspired for the show. So let's listen to some Elvis American Trilogy, which is one of the great performances of all time. I actually used it in the CanesInSight hype video for this season, saying Battle Hymn of the Republic for the North, saying Dixie for the South, and then had a spiritual as well to, represent, Black people in that equation. So you're talking about the whole country represented in one performance by the King, with a huge band of all kinds of different people from all over the country, and epic performance, the American Trilogy. And now I can enjoy the American Trilogy with the American Unwind. And That's that's peak living right there.
That's getting it done, man. That's as good as it gets. I can't wait to do it with you this weekend, brother.
Well, you're staying in Broward though, right? Where you're from?
Yeah. My dad wouldn't let me come down and not stay with old dad. My dad lives on the same block as uh Bailey. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his first name. The giant linebacker turned defensive tackle for Miami.
Oh, Alan Bailey.
Alan Bailey. Yep. Yep. He runs into him walking because those old Floridians, like you're talking about, they love walking. So my dad's walking the neighborhood all the time. He runs into him and he asks them stuff. Alan Bailey said 10 years ago, he said it's the Jessies and Joes. We just don't have those dudes. We don't have, and now, I mean, what Mario's put together, I'm thrilled. I think everyone as a Canes fan should just be so excited. And like Streeter was saying, let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy these next few days. Let's enjoy being on the mountaintop. And if it gets even better after Monday, hey, I love it.
I'll be enjoying it. I will be relaxing without the tax on Tuesday. It's going to be great toasting all these papas. But you're a hemp tycoon. What are you doing staying at your parents' house? Staying with your dad. You're a hemp tycoon.
Dude, I tell you, well, I can get a hotel. I'm not a tycoon, I can assure you, but I could afford a Best Western or something. But my dad would throw a fit if I didn't come see him. So you know how it is when you get to see. Nice thing about you guys, you stayed home. I moved 3,000 miles away, man. I see my dad once every 2-3 years.
No, again, enjoy that moment. Enjoy number 6 with the fam.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can run into each other and hang out again. No, I saw you at the Lickin', which was awesome. We'll see what happens
this time, buddy. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I think we're working on that. I just need that fried broccoli in my life, and I will wash it down with Papa's alternative brew, the American Unwind. And yeah, man, I'm fired up for this partnership. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you in the chat, man. Nick West, everybody, support a cane Papa's alternative brew, PAPA''S.
Let's go, Canes.
Go Canes, baby. All right, shout out to Nick West, shout out to Street, shout out to Walter Egot. Appreciate everybody joining us. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. Over 3,000 on, man. It is rocking and rolling. It is championship week. I am so fired up for Monday, man. I think it's going to be a great, great night for the Miami Hurricanes. It's going to be a lot of great days up to that because it's a lot of fun. We got a lot of content coming, more interviews, more big-time stuff on the way. You already saw all the stuff we've done with Pate, Brooks Austin, Landon Tangwell. I mean, it's been one after the other. We got more on the way. Again, like and subscribe to the show. Go Canes.